Hey, I just love that countdown. It's like it got a groovy vibe. Hey, everybody, good morning. What if you've done everything right, and the system still can't see you? What if the missing piece isn't more work? It's letting yourself be visible. That squad is where we're going today. So you know what time it is. It's time. Let's dance. Let's dance. Good morning, everybody. I'm your host, Sheryl Raphael Whitaker. It starts with Joy Live. Joy says, I trust you enough to tell you the truth. Joy gives you courage. That is like every leader I've ever worked with, respectful avoidance. It's when we hold back the honest thing.
If you drop the polite act, they stop inviting you to the table.
Breathe, B.
Your seat at the table is only secure if you never actually lead.
Beatrice and Atlas, you guys need to get along in my head. Heart races before hard conversation for that inner applause that's gonna keep you going. Having some real honest look in the mirror conversations with yourself about who you are. The kindest thing you could do for someone is trusting the relationship enough to tell the truth. We're working on this companion app for the show. Sign in and you can actually talk with me. So find this app. Stand up. Let's dance. Woo! Good morning. Hi, everybody. Good morning, Joy Squad. I'm so happy you're here. It is Wednesday again. Hey, we are streaming live on YouTube and on LinkedIn. And if you're watching the replay, well, we miss you here in the morning, but still really super glad that you're here. Welcome. It's episode 8. And I have been waiting for this one. Waiting. Who is it? Hey, good morning, Dwayne. Hi, Susie. Good morning, guys. Okay, here's what I need to ask you today. Today, I want you to really sit with this. Have you ever been the most qualified person in the room and still invisible? And I'm not talking about because you're not delivering or because you're not excellent, but because excellence on its own is just not the whole equation. So tell me in your chat if you are there already. Have you ever felt invisible? Because today we're going to name what's missing. And our guest, my friend, Felicia Smith. Hi, Felicia. I know you're in the green room there. Some of you might recognize her name because she was spotlighted on episode 4. Gave her a little shine of light love. And she didn't just name this thing that we're talking about, this visibility. She's built a whole community around it. She built a whole podcast season around it. And she's here and we're going to be talking all about it. And of course, we've got Beatrice and Atlas. You know, they're always battling in my head. And I don't expect anything different today. We've got some data that's going to make you ponder. And it might actually make you a little bit mad or wondering like, what? And then we are going to make you move because we've got the final joy shift homework of this cycle. And this one is about joy in motion. So squad, if you're here, if you're live on YouTube or LinkedIn, tell me hello, say hello, and let's get it started. Good morning, Beatrice and Atlas. How are you today? How are you?
You don't get on a live show and admit you let people walk right over your hard work.
She isn't admitting defeat, Beatrice. She's handing them the map out of the trap.
What you call a trap is job security. You become a target the second you stop playing the humble architect.
The architect deserves to live in the house she built. It's time to claim the keys.
Just remember, the architect in the spotlight is the first one blamed when the roof caves in.
When joy is the foundation, the roof holds just fine. The floor is yours, Sheryl.
Ooh, the roof holds just fine. I just love that. I love that. Atlas really just keeps me grounded, and I really appreciate it because Beatrice already, she's already off the rails, and she was off the rails as I put this monologue together, and I'm going to share with you. But I'm going to share something with you that I need to say out loud. And I don't know if I've ever said this. I definitely haven't said it on the show. And I don't think I've ever really said it out loud to anybody. But so for most of my career, I believed a lie. And the worst part is it sounded like wisdom, which sometimes it can. It sounded like something a good mentor would say. And it sounded like good advice. Hi, Igra. Good morning from Charleston. Hey, good morning, Charleston. Good morning. Okay, so this is the lie. And let's see if you can relate to this. Just do excellent work and the right people will notice. Do excellent work and the right people will notice. And I got to tell you, I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly. I lived it. I built my entire career on that. I was a person, this might be to you too, and tell me if it relates. I showed up early, stayed late, delivered more than anyone asked for, and never made noise about it. And I thought that was being professional. I thought I was being, classy and giving presents. And I thought that was how you earned respect. Hi, Jen and Gwen are here. Oh, hi, Jen and Gwen. You rhyme too. I love that. Good morning. Hi, Donna. Good morning. Good morning. And Susie, you agree? Okay. Yes. Whew, so, and let me tell you, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I was excellent. All right. And I refuse to be humble about this. I was genuinely really good at what I did. I've had an amazing career. I've climbed the different ranks within the insurance industry. I led teams. I built teams. It's my superpower. I built programs. I delivered results. And on paper, hey, undeniable. On paper, I was undeniable. But this is the thing that nobody warned me about. Undeniable on paper is not the same as visible in the room. Okay, so let me tell you about when this hit me the hardest. My last corporate role was hands down the biggest of my entire career. Biggest. I was brought in to make changes, real changes, and I did, right? Me and my team, we did. We built a strategy. We executed. I delivered exactly what was asked for. And it was big, it was bold, it was transformational. But here's what I didn't see at the time. I was brought in to do, not to be seen, not to leave a visibility. I was there to architect. That's what Beatrice and Atlas were referring to. I was there to build the thing and carry it across the finish line. And so when those changes turned out to be bigger than the organization was ready for, I was the one standing there with my team holding the blueprint. And alone, really alone, because my visibility in that role was tied to my output, not my influence, not my voice, not the direction I was setting, just the results I was producing. So I was the most excellent I had ever been in my career, honestly. And at the same time, I was the most invisible I'd ever been. At the same time. It's so crazy. So that is the lie at its peak. You can be undeniable and still unseen, because tactical excellence without strategic visibility means you are the person everyone calls when there's a fire, but you are not the person. You are not the person in the room when the decisions get made about the future. And sometimes that future is being written, and you, in the case of myself, I was being written out of it. And I want to be honest about something else here. It wasn't just a system. If I'm really honest, it wasn't just a system that was keeping me invisible. Some of it was me. Okay, I was really comfortable being the architect, the one who builds the thing and then steps aside while everyone else walks in. I told myself I was being humble and humility, but it wasn't humility. It was, and you know what I'm going to say, because I say it all the time, it was fear dressed up as professionalism, fear of being seen as self-promoting, fear of being too much, fear of taking up space that I had, to be honest, every right to take up. I had every right. Does this sound familiar? Let me see what you guys are saying. Oh, good morning, Joy Squad. Corporations looting essence. Oh, corporations looting essence. That's deep. Hi, Jen. I've been an architect in the room and thought I was a co-lead in a program and found out. Oh, yeah. Whew. All right. So it's clear to me that, and John Park, yeah, I'm speaking English, my friend. I hope you are too. David Juarez. Oh, look, everybody. I'm glad you're feeling and seeing what I'm experiencing here. So look, it does sound familiar, right? I know it does, because every woman, and I'm speaking, this is the end of Women's History Month, so you're gonna hear me focus on my ladies for a second here. Every woman I work with, especially every woman of color I work with, knows the story in her bones. And here's what I know about visibility, what I've learned. Visibility is not ego, guys. Visibility is strategy. It is strategy. And more than that, yeah, visibility is joy, because joy says you deserve to be seen for what you've built. You deserve a voice as loud as your results. Fear says keep your head down. Joy says lift that head up, girl. Lift it up. And I will tell you exactly when it changed. It changed for me when I left corporate. I walked out the door after years, decades of building, leading, delivering, and I realized something that really knocked me over. When I left, I'm like, oh my God, I have no personal brand. None. Everything I had built was attached to the team. It was attached to the organization. So when the structure was done, so like my visibility was gone too. So no one outside of the walls of my organization knew what I thought. They knew what I did. They knew I was excellent, but they didn't know my voice. They didn't know my perspective. They didn't know what I stood for as a leader. And it's because, and this is the theme, same thing last week about not letting people in. I never let them. I spent my entire career making it about the team. I made my career about the team. And I told myself that that was great leadership. And in many ways, okay, sure. But I also made myself disappear in the process. It's like being in a relationship and then forgetting who you are in it. So I gave the system, this relationship, I gave it my labor, my results, my excellence, but I never gave it my voice. And so that's when I decided, never again, never again. That is why this show exists. Am I like scared to death? It's getting better, but this is a lot that I'm doing, putting myself out there. But I'm doing it because my voice needs to be heard. I know that now. It's why I wrote the book. And it's why I'm here in this chair right now doing what I do, because I finally stopped being the invisible architect and started letting joy lead me into visibility. And if that story sounds familiar to you, if you're sitting here right now, and I know there are some of you out here who this is speaking to you because we've talked about it, then I'm hoping that this is the wake-up call that you need, because that's what we're getting into today. We're not talking about self-promotion. It is something so much deeper than that, squad. We're talking about the courage to let yourself be visible, fully, strategically, and joyfully visible, when everything that we've been taught, growing up even, told us to stay behind the work. So we're getting into this with Felicia today. She calls it strategic visibility, and I love it. I just love it. I'm stealing it. And she's living proof of what happens when you make that decision to stop hiding behind that tactical excellence and start stepping into the light. So that's the episode, guys. That's the episode. And I promise you what's coming, I'm hoping is going to change how you show up tomorrow morning. And I can tell from the fire in the chat that we are getting there. Yes, let them, and let us. Stay with us, guys. Stay with us.
Did you hear her? She wants us to step into the light. Visibility just means a bigger target when things go wrong.
The shadows will not protect you, Beatrice. They just hide you.
We let the work speak for itself. That is how you survive the system without getting burned.
The system is perfectly happy to take the work and forget the architect. Excellence without a voice is just free labor.
And if we speak up and they decide they don't like the sound of our voice, what then?
Then we let the data do the talking. Let's look at the math, Sheryl.
Okay, Beatrice, when we say we're going to step into the light, we're not talking about like poltergeist, go to the light, just go to the light. We're talking about step out into the light. That's awesome. Oh, wow, the chat is hot. We even got banned. Okay, well, we're having fun. Okay, here we go, squad. Okay, I'm going to admit something. And if you don't know this about me, yes, I am a proud card-bearing member of Bachelor Nation. All right. Don't judge. This is a judge-free zone on this show. But I'm bringing it up because whether you are a Bachelor fan or not, I mean, it's trending because this past week, ABC pulled an entire filmed season days before it was supposed to premiere. Millions of dollars lost after a video surfaced of the lead, the Bachelorette, in a violent confrontation back from 2023. So I'm not here to litigate someone else's life, but here's what I can't stop thinking about. This person had the most visible platform on network television. I mean, millions of people were about to know her name, and just like that, canceled, vanished overnight. So here's where I need you to pay attention, because most of us, we have the opposite problem. We are not too visible. We are invisible on purpose, by habit, by training. But the thing nobody talks about, that there is a cost to that invisibility. And I don't mean it hurts your feelings. I mean, it costs money. It costs seats. It costs legacy. All right, so data. Remember I mentioned before, I was going to talk to you about some of the data. McKinsey and Lean In, they've been tracking this for years. For every 100 men promoted to manager, only 81 women get promoted. For every 100 men promoted to manager, 81 get promoted. And if you double dip like I am, a woman of color, that number drops to 73. That's the broken rung. This is not the glass ceiling. The first rung, the one at the bottom, the one that decides whether you even get into the room where the ceiling exists. And here's what keeps me up at night about that number. It's not that women, that we're not qualified. We know we're qualified, right? The data shows, sorry guys, but it shows that we're actually outperforming our male counterparts. So what's the gap? So here's what Felicia says. I mean, I'll tell you, she says, and we're going to hear from her in a few minutes. She says organizations reward tactical excellence, but they promote strategic visibility. Saying that again. Okay. Organizations reward tactical excellence, but they promote strategic visibility. And they reward the work, but they promote the person they see leading, even if it's by osmosis. So the woman who delivers every quarter but never speaks up in a leadership meeting, rewarded, maybe a nice bonus, maybe a thank you email, but promoted, not as often. That goes to the person whose name comes up when they're not in the room, the person who made sure that they were like thinking about not just the output, but they were part of the conversation. That's not a character flaw. That's a system. And the system is not going to fix itself while we wait politely. It's not going to happen, guys. So let me ask you something different today, squad. I want you to really think about this one. All right, here comes some of the questions. When is the last time you said something strategic? Not something helpful or supportive, something that positions you as a thought leader, like you're thinking as leadership. Not a status update or, hey, just wanted to flag this. A moment where you said, here's what I believe. Here's what I think. Here's where I think we should go. And here's the reason why. Can you remember the last time? Can you? Drop it in the chat. If you can't remember, all I need is a yes. If you can remember the last time. Yeah, Donna, so true. Okay. If you can't remember, then I'm not judging you. That's not judgment, because I was that person too, remember. That is just information, and it's information where your shift, that's where it starts with that information, right? That awareness. Because here's the real thing. Visibility, it's not one big moment. It's not a TED Talk. It's not this viral post. It's the small thing. It's like the small things. It's the accumulation of small strategic choices to let people see what you think, not just what you do. Not just what you do, not just what you deliver, what you think. And joy is what gives you that nerve to do it. Fear says, Wait until you're sure. Don't open your mouth until you've got something like really important to say. Joy says, no, I'm sorry. With your perspective, it's valuable. Fear says, don't speak until you're spoken to. Joy says, hey, girl, guys, the room needs what you see. And that is what we're getting into today. That is where we are. So, I usually have a quick thought that I want to share. And it's funny because I was going to talk about 2026 versus 2016. It's this whole like trending thing right now. And I was talking to Keith about it the other day. And then I realized, hey, 10 years ago, when you get older, 10 years is not much really changes in 10 years. Okay, I had dreadlocks then and bald head now. I was already married to Dwayne. We didn't have Bella. But not much really else has changed. But what really has changed for me in the last 10 years is what we're talking about today. It's what we're talking about today. And Felicia, we're going to bring her on in a minute. She's got her own version of everything that we've been talking about. Season 6 of the Climb podcast is called No More Excellence and Invisibility. Her first episode, and I wrote this down and I'm going to read it, is titled Allow Me to Reintroduce Myself. I feel it's like a rap song there. Allow me to reintroduce myself. This climb is personal. That's not a podcast episode. My friends, that is a declaration. And she is one of my most favorite people on the planet. So let's have some fun and introduce my friend, Felicia Smith. Let's bring her on stage.
Have you ever done everything right but still felt overlooked? It's a heavy, invisible tax so many capable women carry. You aren't falling behind because of your ability. You're hitting broken rungs on a ladder that wasn't built for you. Meet Felicia Smith. She's a leadership coach and the visionary founder of The Climb. For over 16 years, she's navigated government and nonprofit spaces. She knows exactly how to bridge the gap between capable and confidently positioned. She decided it's time to stop fixing broken systems and build new ladders entirely. Her mission ensures nobody has to climb alone. She's giving women of color the tools to understand power through her nonprofit. Community is her ultimate leadership strategy. She also hosts a podcast tackling self-sabotage and collective advancement. She's giving women of color real strategies to navigate the workplace. Your leadership identity must be built right now. It happens long before the actual title ever arrives. She's a proud Tuskegee graduate, a wife, and mother to 2 kids. But stepping into the spotlight hasn't been easy. She naturally loves the quiet work of strategy behind the scenes. Now she's actively navigating how to show up out front. Showing up out front isn't always easy. Today, we're talking about how true leadership transforms when joy gives you permission to be seen. Felicia, we're honored to have you here. Welcome to It Starts With Joy.
Oh my goodness.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, my friend. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. And I am so excited to be here with you on It Starts With Joy. And Pinky got her interest also.
Oh my God. I cannot believe Pinky is in the intro. Melissa, Zola team, oh my gosh, you getting all the love today, all the love. We're going to talk about who Pinky is, but to see her come to life like that, Felicia.
I know, with all of her sassiness and glory.
Yes, I know. It's just as we pictured her, right? Just as we pictured her. Wow. Welcome to the show. I'm so happy that you're here.
Thank you so much.
You are super busy and your time is extremely valuable. And I'm happy to see your face this morning. Happy to see your face.
There is nowhere that I want to be more than here with you, Sheryl. You know, you're one of my the same favorite humans. So I have been anticipating and waiting to be here with you today.
Thank you. So before we get into you, because you inspired this entire episode, you inspired it. I want to warm us up a little bit with a clip and get your hot take, and then we're gonna get into it. So. Mark and Mildred, Madame, if you guys can run the clip for us, please.
I keep telling a friend of mine recently just got fired. And I'm like, you don't get it. This is going to be the best thing that ever happened to you. You don't know it right now. You're going to remember not understanding what I'm saying to you. But sometimes these moments, most of the time, these moments of failure or complete and utter disappointment and rock bottom is what ultimately help you stay strong at the top.
Right. And give you opportunities for something new, because otherwise you don't know. And people aren't usually, that courageous to say, all right, I'm going to just stop this and do this. But sometimes you're forced.
Well, speaking of forced, you stepped away from your namesake brand.
Well, I didn't really step away.
Well, not forced. That's true. That's true. Yes. Kind of fired.
Yes, kind of fired.
And then had to reinvent yourself.
Right.
But what were the lessons that you learned from being fired that then helped you create Jones Road?
Well, first of all, that it hurts and it's painful and there's emotion and sadness, but there's also excitement. And, and you have like an empty playbook for the first time in how many years? I worked after we sold the company 22 years as a corporate employee. And all of a sudden I had nothing on my calendar, which was scary, by the way.
Yeah.
I wasn't used to having nothing.
And doing it in your 60s.
And doing it in my age does not define me. I got to tell you, age, I know I'm 68 years old. I know I'm going to be 70 in a couple of years. I know I'm going to be 80 and 90. And I'm like, it doesn't define me. If you keep yourself positive and physically, good in your body, I think anything can happen.
After having written this book, what would still Bobby say to the Bobby Brown who was leaving Estee Lauder?
Buckle up, buckle up, and just don't be afraid. And just most importantly, have fun.
Bobby Brown. I mean, I use her Jones Road products, and I had no idea that she was at 68. I'm like, I was so shocked by that. Yeah, she's
beautiful.
Great.
She looks beautiful.
Yeah, but what comes to your mind when you think about this in the context of our conversation today about visibility?
The first thing that came to my mind is failing forward. That oftentimes we're so afraid to fail. But I think those are the greatest lessons. Like, first of all, it's not even realistic to think that you're always going to succeed. There are going to be failures, but those failures, to her point, can be very exciting, and it actually can be a clean slate in terms of how you want to move forward and how you want to recreate what visibility looks like for you. And now you can look at what you did in the past and how you want to move forward. But in terms of visibility, you get to recreate the person that you are. If you didn't get to really understand what strategic visibility was before, now you move forward setting the rules probably in a way that you didn't get to when you were in your other career or your other job. It's a reset. And so I always consider that failing forward, the opportunity to learn a lesson and figure out how you want to move forward.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And what struck me too is that, I mean, Bobby Brown was sold to Estee Lauder years ago, and she spent 22 years as a corporate employee after she sold, and we didn't hear from her. She was like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And now she is everywhere. Like, she's stepped out into like her power. And the power was there all along.
It was.
Right? She had it all along.
She had to find it. She had to find it. Yeah. And probably the firing, to your point, is what helped her to figure out that she had this power. Like, she was the brainchild, which often all of us are behind the scenes.
Yes.
And they knew her for her brilliance in doing all of these things, but not the person up front, right? Not the visibility. And as soon as she lost the position and she had to recreate herself, now she has a book. Now she's up front. And so again, the ability to learn that lesson and create her new playbook is super powerful.
Yeah, I love that. And that's what I love about the work that you are doing, Felicia, because you and we've had conversations about your own visibility, right? And now I see like podcast season 6, right? Can we talk about that? Allow me to reintroduce myself. This time is personal. Can we talk about this? Please talk about it. I need to know.
Yeah, in my personal life, which I will say Felicia is a different person than she is in her career. But
Yeah.
in my personal life, I too struggle with visibility. My natural inclination is to be behind the scenes, just doing a thing. But what I realized, to your point, over the last year is the only way that I'm going to be able to inspire, motivate, and continue to increase the leadership pipeline is if I'm visible strategically, if women can see and hear my story. And so that's why I started season 6 that way. It's personal. I can talk about it from, facts and figures, but it's really a personal journey that I myself went through, had to learn some very hard lessons. And I don't want anybody else to go through that. But I can't give that message if I'm just behind the scenes creating the organization. I have to be upfront, and I have to be able to let people know my stories, my lessons, and then in hopes that that will help them to continue to climb on their journey in their career.
Yeah, I mean, Ingrid said perfectly said. I just love that. Can you talk to us about the climb? Because not everybody is familiar. I'm wearing a purple necklace because that's your color.
Yes.
I could have sworn you were going to wear purple today, but
well, a part of the climb, it's a little bit of pink in it, so I always like to
yes, that's true.
Purple.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true. That's true.
Either I'm wearing like all deep purple, I throw a little pink in there. But the climb is an organization that's really focused on increasing the leadership pipeline for women of color, and not just executives. It's from the young lady who just graduated from college and is getting her first job to the executive that's just starting in the C-suite. And what we've created, what the organization does, I think, is 3 things really well. It does clarity for everything that we're talking about today: strategic visibility, the politics of the workplace, how you show up, emotional intelligence. We provide women of color clarity on these things that often are not discussed. We talk about leadership in big forums, but we don't talk about the nuances of what it means to be at the table. We talk about having a seat at the table, but we don't say what you do when you get there.
Yeah.
And those are the nuances that help us to climb the ladder. So we do clarity, but we also do connection and community, right? So these are a community of women who are all on the same journey in terms of wanting to be successful in their careers, wanting to climb the ladder, to become a leader in their industry and to be a force. And so when you have a group of women who are all trying to do the same thing, it's power there, because we're able to create safe space to have those conversations. Because as you know, if you've worked in any sector, it's oftentimes not safe for you to ask that question that you're thinking about in that moment, in that forum, with people who may not be on the same place, be the same place where you are. And so we create community there, and the ability to ask those questions and the connections, right? To build, to meet women who are on the same journey as you. And so those really are the 3 things that the climb does. We have lots of programming. As she said, we have the podcast, we have a newsletter, we have the boardroom professional development, and lots of leadership programs. Whether you're starting a junior in high school, we have the If You Can See or You Can Be Her, where we expose young girls, along with Let's Create with Donna Welch, where we expose young girls to what they can become, all the way up to our leadership program for mid-level managers, where we teach them the nuances of, now you're at the boardroom seat, what do I do now?
Oh man. And I mean, and this is you're doing all of this, like, this is off to the side of your desk, but the climb is really who you are. And, in full disclosure, I am a very, very proud, member of the climb as an executive champion and a coach. And you're doing really exceptional work, which is the reason why we had to shine a light on you a few episodes ago, and why I wanted you to be here. But so I wanted to just lean into this tactical excellence and strategic visibility, because I sense that there is a gap. I mean, you could tell this from my monologue and everything, that I'm really, really passionate about it. What is that gap? Why does that gap exist? What's the struggle, do you think?
The struggle is, to your point, the thing that you admitted at the beginning of the podcast, that most of us are taught to go in the workplace, to do good work, and will be recognized. And to be honest, doing the work on a day-to-day basis, although can be very helpful to a company's bottom line, is the tactical piece of just doing the work. and you're rewarded. You probably get bonuses. And then you say to yourself, probably, I can do more. I want to go into leadership, or I want to be able to lead this company. I can do more. What no one talks about is the transition from being the tactical expert, the person who is the SME, to now I am able to translate or move to become a person that's more strategic, meaning I understand the totality of the business. And when people think about me, they don't think about me just as the project manager for project X, Y, and Z. They think of me as the person who understands the business and can help to move the organization forward. And that's a different type of person. You show up a little bit differently at the tables because you're not just talking about your equities, you're talking about the larger scope. And we don't teach that. We just say, hey, your work's going to lead you all the way to the top, but you have to be able to transition the way you speak about the organization, how the part that you're really good at fits into the bigger picture, and how you're thinking to use what you already have as a talent to grow that organization. That really helps people to see you in a different light. And then number two, what we're not taught is that we have to say what we want.
Oh,
we have to just say,
yes.
Hey,
you don't do that.
Right now, I'm a technical SME and I'm doing really well for this company. I would like to be whatever that next is. I'm the vice president of, people operations. I want to be this thing. What does that path look like? We're afraid to say it because we almost feel like if we say it, we're going to be disqualified.
Yes.
But sometimes people don't see you in that position until you actually say you want it. Because I've heard several times in my career, oh, we thought you just wanted to do this thing over here.
Yes. You have, I love that. You do have to, speak your truth.
Yeah.
And you can't make any assumptions that the folks who are making decisions about your future within the workplace know what you want, or that they even know what you're capable of doing.
Yes, absolutely. And so I think that's the rub. That's the struggle, is that connection between being a producer for an organization to now wanting to be a leader in that organization, and changing the way that you frame how you talk to other leaders and how you are perceived in the workplace. That's the rub that we don't talk about, but the climb is committed to bridging that gap.
Yeah, I love that. So we do need to talk about her, because you know who her is.
Yes, I know her is.
I know who her is.
I know her.
Because she, the inner critic, can get in the way of you even being able to open your mouth and express what it is that you want, or even to believe and see yourself filling that gap, right? So Can we talk about Pinky? Pinky came in during your introduction. Who is Pinky?
Oh my goodness. Pinky is the woman that lives in my head. She's my inner critic, but she tells me, and me and Sheryl's had this conversation, Pinky's overall goal really is to keep me safe. Her thing is, hey, I don't want to see you fail. I don't want to see you fall. I don't want you to cry. So in doing so, I'm going to give you advice that keeps you small. Because if you stay small, then we won't have to worry about you going out there, putting yourself out there and failing. And so mine is Pinky. Cheryl's is Beatrice. We all have one. But how Pinky plays out for me is when I am at a table, what we would consider a powerful table of leaders, instead of me speaking up, Pinky will say, just be quiet. You're already here. You should be, that's good enough, right?
Yes.
You're here in the room. Don't say anything, because if you open your mouth, you may say something dumb and now they're going to think differently of you. So Pinky wants to say, hey, just be grateful to be here. And so oftentimes I'm like, hey, Pinky, no, we're going to say something. We're going to, I have to talk to her. I have to tell her, like, I know you want to keep me safe, but keeping me safe doesn't make me strategically visible. Keeping me safe just means that I am a number in a room. Doesn't mean that I'm providing any value, that I'm doing any of these things. And so your Pinky, or whoever it is for you, you have to talk to her, because she's often going to be in your head telling you, like, hey, it's okay. You've done enough. Okay, well, you just got a bonus. That's enough. You don't need to be, a manager. You're okay. But she, as well-intentioned as she is, I have to push past her. And I
Yes.
also have to ask myself what is really true about what Pinky is saying. So if she's telling me something, I have to say what's been true about that in the past. And oftentimes I find the fallacy in what Pinky's trying to tell me. But I love her. She's sassy. You know, she gets me all the way together, but we have conversations.
I mean, and I love what you said, and it is very, very true that she is trying to protect you. But in that protection, it also, you can't breathe.
Nope.
Right?
In a box.
It reminds me, I tease my mom about this all the time. When we were little, and during the winter, if we're going to go to the bus stop, and she would wrap us all up, right? You got your coat, mittens, and a scarf that's like wrap the hat, right? Earmuffs, and then everything, all that's left is just like your eyes, and you can't even breathe. But it's love, right? She's protecting us from the cold while we're going to stand at the bus stop. But you're moving like this, and our the pinkies of the world, they can do the same, right?
Yep, just wrapping you up because they want you to be safe. It comes from a good place. It comes from the best place. It's just it won't allow you to grow and be visible. Because if you're wrapped up in a box, no one can see you. All they see is like your mom does, this person with probably just a little nose and eyes. But they don't get to experience you. They don't get to hear your voice. They don't get to hear your perspective. Right. And your perspective is unique. You have something that nobody else has that room needs. But if you're wrapped up, they can't see it. And so then how are you visible? Then you are invisible. You're there and they know you're the count. But they don't know anything else about you or how you are an asset to that organization and how you're going to lead that organization to greatness.
Yeah. And the worst thing is, gosh, to be invisible to yourself.
Yeah.
That's just not a place we want to be.
Yeah.
So you've done it, because I mean, we've gone through and had a lot of conversations. I'm so proud of you and what you're putting out there right now, Felicia. Advice for those who are listening or watching on getting there, because the chat is going. I see Cynthia out there. Hi, Cynthia. Everyone is loving the conversation. So what advice do you have for everybody so they can move forward? Because you're moving ahead. You are stepping out. Pinky is sitting down and drinking a martini or something. So
she's still on my back. She is still on my back. My advice is say what you want. Because that is one of the things I think we don't do well enough. Say what we want and also not just say what you want to the right people. Oftentimes we are experts. People respect our subject matter expertise.
Yeah.
But oftentimes you have to take it a step forward. Those people, those leaders who respect your subject matter expertise, have a conversation with them.
Right.
Even guys I'd like for you to mentor me because this is my dream. This is my goal. This is what I want to do next. That's number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, when you get the opportunity to sit at the proverbial table, that is not the time just to be grateful to be there. That is the time to add value. And that value can be big, small, but somebody needs to know you're not just something at the table. Now, I am not suggesting you just talk for the sake of talking, because then you'll just look like somebody who's just blah, blah, blah. But when there's an opportunity for you to add value and to place what you're working into the larger picture and to open your mouth and say that is strategic visibility, right? And so say what you want, talk to other leaders, so you can get the sponsorship. Go ahead, Pinky.
Oh, man. She's working off this.
She's mad at me now. She said she's doing too much. And then when you get at the table, don't just be grateful. Shut up. Even if he says, shut up, you don't need to say anything else. I say, no, I have to say something. But that's what Pinky's doing in my head when I'm thinking about, okay, how am I going to add value at this meeting? What am I going to say in this that continues to give me strategic visibility? She's like, you're here. Just be quiet.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But I mean, she's mad at you talking about it right now, even.
She is.
Oh, she is so mad. She is so mad. Felicia, I could talk to you forever.
I know.
I thank you so much for being here and for sharing your wisdom. There is so much more for you to say. I really do hope that you will grace our stage again and and show up again.
Anytime, anywhere. I am honored to be here. I'm honored to be here to support you, my friend. I love you a million pieces, and I look forward to us continuing this conversation. You know, Sheryl's an amazing advocate for the climb, an amazing executive champion, and I'm just grateful that she sees and understands the vision and is helping us also to increase that leadership pipeline.
Yeah, it's super important. I'm very, very passionate about it. Where can everybody find you?
Oh, absolutely.
And be an ally as well, right? Because we're talking about women of color, but we need everybody to help make this happen.
Yes. And we are always looking for women who are looking to invest into our next generation of female leaders. You can find me at the-climb.org. You can learn more about the organization. If you're interested in joining as a member, you can sign up for membership there also. But you can also follow The Climb at Join The Climb on LinkedIn, Join The Climb on Instagram. Myself on LinkedIn is Felicia Smith. And I'll be linked to Sheryl. If you find Sheryl, you can find me. And then the Climb podcast episodes come out every Wednesday where we're talking about having a very similar conversation as this.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And I love you, my friend. Thank you for being here. We'll see you soon there, lady. Woo.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Felicia. All right. Woo. I mean, guest after guest, everybody is just so amazing. Thank you so much, Felicia, for sharing your wisdom with us. And we are going to keep it moving. Let's go into my head for a second.
Okay. Felicia made a point. If organizations only promote what they can see, hiding behind the work isn't noble. It's just hiding.
Precisely. You aren't protecting Sheryl by keeping her invisible, Beatrice. You are just handing her leverage over to the room.
But what does visibility look like without looking desperate? Stepping into the spotlight is a terrifying calculation.
It doesn't look like desperation. It looks like taking inventory of what she has actually built. It's time to gather the receipts.
Having proof is just good defense. But the second this audit turns into a vanity tour, I am pulling the plug.
It's not vanity, Beatrice. It's strategy. Let's close this cycle, Sheryl. Give them the assignment.
Oh, okay. So I thought we almost, did you sense that little glimmer of hope in there with Beatrice? She was getting a little bit, but then fear takes over. And thank goodness, as always, we've got strong, wonderful Atlas to keep us going. So as they mentioned, as my head was mentioning, we are like at the week 4, I call it, of a full cycle recap. So week 1, we did Joy Aware, right? Where we named the truth. We talked about Joy Embrace, where we accepted, not surrendered, but accepted. Last week, we got accountable, talked about respectful avoidance. Remember that name, respectful avoidance, and we found our inner applause. And so this week, at the end of this cycle, we're talking about joy in motion. So it's time for us to move. And I have two things for the joy shift for this week. One is the strategic visibility audit. And the second is your visibility declaration. So here's the first exercise. And by the way, don't forget, we've got It Starts With Joy.live, the app. And so all the homework, now you don't have to find this and rewind or jot it down. I mean, you can jot it down if you want to, but everything is now in It Starts With Joy.live. The homework is going to be there almost immediately, I think, right after the show. So first one. Felicia says that organizations reward tactical excellence but promote strategic visibility. So we're going to audit where you are and ask yourself 3 questions. First one is, am I known for what I do or for what I think? That's the tactical versus strategic right there, okay? Second question, who is advocating for me when I'm not in the room? Can you name them? Can you name who they are? Those rooms that you're not in, critical, right? Third one, what is my most significant contribution from the last 90 days? And does anyone beyond my immediate team even know about it? If those answers are making you uncomfortable, that's great, because discomfort, that's where this action lives. So think about those 3 questions. And then the second exercise is about your visibility declaration. So I want you to write down, and then when you have it down, you're going to say it out loud, and you're going to post it if you're brave enough. And it goes like this. I have been building blank. I have been invisible about blank. And this week I'm making one visible move, which is blank. So this is not a rebrand or it's not a press release or anything like that. It's one concrete visible act that says, I'm here, I built this, and I'm stepping forward in it. And here's one thing I want you to do. In honor of the end of Women's History Month, I want you to find one woman and tell them that they're excellent this week. Tell them that they're not allowed to stay invisible about it anymore. And, because we're not hoarding light here, we hand it to each other and we say, walk toward it. Walk toward it. So again, your homework, audit your visibility, write your declaration, make one visible move and hand the light to someone else. That's how we close this cycle. That's how we do it. Joy is in motion. Let's keep going. It's almost time to shine a light.
Handing the light to someone else, that's the real work. It's one thing to climb, but another entirely to build a stage.
Exactly, Zola. Visibility isn't just about claiming your own space. It's about widening the room so others can walk in.
And that takes a specific kind of courage. Looking at people who have been sidelined and telling them, your voice is safe here.
That is what joy in motion truly is. It's not just personal alignment. It is a foundation that actively lifts people up.
I honor anyone who builds that kind of legacy. Let's see what it looks like in real life. Show them the proof, Sheryl.
Yay, I'm going to show you guys the proof. You guys know that one of my favorite things to do on the show every week is to stop everything right before we're done and shine a light on someone who really, truly deserves it, who deserves to be seen. Someone who's out there doing the work quietly or loudly, consistently, beautifully. And sometimes, if we're lucky, that person is someone who we get to call a friend. And for me, I am that lucky and that blessed because today I want to shine a light on my friend, powerhouse Uma Devreddy. And I want you to stay with me because her story is literally the episode that we just had, lived out loud in real life. So Uma and I were brought together through community, which is always the best way that things happen. No grand plan, no strategy, just the right people finding each other at the right time. Oh, let's hug in there. And from the moment we connected over Zoom, I just knew that this lady is something special. The kind of person who walks into your world and just quietly makes it bigger. So here's what you need to know about Uma. She didn't wait for someone to hand her a stage. She looked around, saw people who were afraid to be seen, afraid to use her voice, afraid to take up space. And she said, not on my watch. I mean, she is a firecracker. In 2020, this lady, she founded TEDx South Lake, a TEDx event, big time, from scratch. TEDx, guys, it's volunteer run, so there's no paycheck. It's just pure mission. And that mission is to help people stop being afraid to be seen. Sounds familiar, right? It's everything we've been talking about. 6 years later, TEDx South Lake has coached hundreds of speakers, young people, professionals, community leaders, and gave them something you can't buy, which is their voice, confidence, their moment on stage. The coolest thing is that over 80% of the young people who have stepped onto that red dot for TEDx South Lake, they've gone on to Ivy League colleges. 80%. That's not a platform. That, my friends, that's a launch pad, and that's a legacy. So she pulled me into her world and gave me one of the most meaningful professional experiences of my life last year. And I'm always going to carry that with me. I mean, forever. And here's the thing that gets me every time I think about it. She does all of this just off the side of her desk. It's just like Felicia, right? Because for Uma, it's never about recognition. It was always about giving other people the courage to rise. She became visible so that others could find the courage to do the same. That is strategic visibility. Uma is joy in motion. So Uma, my friend, this light is all yours today. We see you, we celebrate you, and we are so deeply grateful that you, sweet Uma, that you're in the world. I could get emotional thinking about her. Okay. And so listen, if something stirred in you today, if you've been sitting on an idea that you know could matter, could move people, could change something, this is a perfect time for me to let you know that TEDx Southlake wants to hear from you. Applications are open right now, I think through May 6th. So you can go to TEDxSouthlake.com and put yourself forward. That is like the ultimate opportunity for you to be strategically visible. Your stage is waiting, and you never know whose life your idea might change, starting with your own. So, squad, if you know someone who should be seen today, I hope you share this episode with them. Promise me, tell me you do that. Who's out there? Hey, hi, Jonathan. Hey there, my friend. Good to see you. Good to see you. Tell them that the Joy Squad named them. That's how we close the cycle. We want everybody to be a part of this, being strategically visible. And don't forget, it starts with joy.live, because there you can nominate someone who you think deserves to have the light shining on them. So, squad, here we go again. We did it. We are 8 episodes in. We close out a cycle, right? Oh my gosh, we started it 4 weeks ago. Am I aware of where I am actually leading from? Who am I? How am I designed? Then we went into embrace. We got committed. We know ourselves better. We're trying to avoid that respectful avoidance. We're listening to our inner applause. And today we are auditing our visibility. I mean, this is a thing that we've got building here, right? So aware, embrace, committed, motion. Thank you, Felicia. Thank you so much, my friend, for being here. And thank you for building the climb, because no one handed you a blueprint, and for saying that you don't want to be invisible any longer. So we'll be following you out there and supporting you along the way. Thank you to my Starts With Joy production team. You know who you are. You outdo yourselves every single solitary week, and it's an honor to walk this journey with you. And of course, squad, everyone who's watching and listening, hey, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. I feel like you're understanding now that joy is not a destination. It is truly the operating system, and it's where we return to every single solitary day. Next week, we're going to start a new cycle, and there's so much more to the road ahead. We've got an amazing, amazing guest coming on, Rosalind Rice. Woo, she's a badass. Can't wait, as all my guests are. So it starts with joy.live. Guys, we're done. Fear lost, joy won. Let's keep dancing. I love you. Mwah.
I still think stepping into the light is a massive risk, but hiding in the shadows means they get to rewrite your history. And we're done letting other people hold the pen. You've documented the work. Now you own the room.
That's what joy in motion looks like. It isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to lead anyway.
The foundation is set. Fear lost and joy won. Until next time, Joy Squad.
It starts with joy. It starts with fire. Feel the heat. Lift you high.